Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. Today, I'm your host, Alan, and I am delighted that you've chosen to join us on this marvelous March morning. And we are so happy to connect with so many people through modern technology such as Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, and all of our social media platforms. So I invite you to go to our website, cslcharlotte.org, put in a prayer request, and subscribe. We're always adding something new each and every week. So who are we at CSL Charlotte? First of all, we're a new thought community based on the science of mind. This science of mind teaching was created in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He combined truths from all of the world's traditions and spiritual paths and created a fresh, new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into this world. So if this sounds wonderful to you, I invite you to stay tuned. So what are we doing here at CSL Charlotte? First of all, we are a diverse community. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, male, female, gay, straight, or even a basketball fan celebrating March Madness this month. The point is everybody's welcome here because we are all individualized expressions of that same divine light. So you can be yourself. And here at CSL Charlotte, we pull wisdom from many different holy scriptures, such as the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Dhammapada, just to name a few examples. So why are we here at CSL Charlotte? Our vision is to create leaders and future leaders who fully embody these teachings, and we can all be an example and teach our communities so we can transform the world into a much better place. So if that sounds wonderful to you, then I invite you to go to our weekly conscious meetings on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And there we'll be able to give you the tools to do just that. So before I pass the mic over to our fabulous Reverend Rosedale Jones, I would like to read a quote to go along with today's theme. Only when your consciousness is totally focused on the moment you are in can you receive whatever gift, lesson, or delight that moment has to offer. And that is by Barbara DeAngelis. And with that, I'll pass the mic over to our fabulous, radiant Reverend Rosedale Jones.
Woo-hoo. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Whatever time of day this is, whatever planet you're on, this is CSL Charlotte. My name, as Alan said, is Reverend Rosedale Jones. So with that all being said, let's get started to know a little bit more about CSL Charlotte. CSL Charlotte is the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. And when we do anything, we do it right. We literally shine the light on all cultures. Like Alan said, this is a diverse community. This month, we're honoring Women's History Month. We're celebrating the divine feminine spirit that shaped the history and that has nurtured transformation and the wisdom of women. You know, they say women's wisdom and intuition, right? It's real because we're women and we're the boss. We're the boss. No, okay. See, I love this month because I happen to be a woman myself. So for generations, women have engaged in all kinds of practices, but one of them that I'm talking about today is the flow of consciousness. So with that being said, we're having these eternal conversations, and they're just simply deep dialogues that we have between us and that spirit within us, because both of those two pieces have always been with us throughout history, and they're the bridge between our challenges and our successes. So use that self and that spirit that always has been here, because this is what we recognize at CSL Charlotte. It's the same universal power that lies within us today, calling us forward, calling us up to listen, calling us to embrace our higher selves. Get up here, guys, because this month we're honoring the voices, the stories, and the spiritual strength that women have paved the way through, and women who continue, like me, who to evolve, to inspire, and to lead. So the first thing we do this morning is we open up with our affirmative prayer for our celebration service. And I got to tell you about this person who, when you listen to her prayer, she's our emeritus spiritual practitioner. And when you listen to her prayer, hear the flow of consciousness as it rings through you, because she's going to come and bring that. So listen to her prayer and think about the flow of consciousness and be open, because if you want a prayer to be open for it, just put it in, because that's who you're going to be getting your prayer from. Go to our website right now and request, I want to be open for the flow of consciousness, and you will get her to send one back to you. So Mo, go for it, make it happen for us this morning.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. So as we take a minute to just settle into our seats this morning and to feel that gratitude that we feel within our hearts, I know that this amazing service touches each and every one of us with what is ours to hear, what is going to be ours to carry forward into the week. I know that this service runs smoothly and easily, and each one of us are fed to our heart's desires from Reverend Rosedale's message this morning. I know that we are all blessed. I know that this service is blessed. And so as I release this prayer into that state of law and creativity, I know that it is already manifesting within each and every one of our lives. And it will continue to support us through today and throughout this amazing week that we are going to participate in. I release and I let go and I let God, knowing that it is done, knowing that it is already manifesting. And we can lock this in together by all of us completely saying and just affirming, and so it is.
And so it is. Wow. So next on our platform, we have JT, Jariva Trailer. She's our reader. And you know what I know about her for a fact? That she is a person who constantly experiences the flow of consciousness, and she's been doing it for quite some time. Because once we get that mind, body, spirit together in our yoga practice, you're in it, but you're in the flow. So listen to JT's reading today, and you're going to gain clarity about the flow of consciousness for yourself. And after JT's reading, listen to the song I Am, because it's by the beautiful chorus, but it's going to help you feel the flow of consciousness as you are listening. So prepare yourself to feel the flow, baby, the flow of consciousness. JT, let it rip.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. Today's reading is from Reverend Rosedale, and it's titled Embracing the Cosmic Flow. Imagine stepping back and observing yourself from the vastness of the spiritual realm. From this higher perspective, you begin to see the expansive truth. We are not separate from the universe. The truth is we are the universe itself. The same energy that ignites the stars and stirs the galaxies is alive within us. We have the stars in us. In fact, we are the stars. As Aristotle once reflected, the stars are not distant and disconnected. They are part of who we are. They have been inserted in our mother's wombs. They have always been interlaced during the creation of us. Thus, they are the very fabric of our being. Now imagine yourself with stars in your eyes. See yourself as a gaze filled with wonder, curiosity, and infinite possibility. In that awareness, you begin to move forward rapidly, like you feel guided by the cosmic flow itself. No longer confined by self-doubt or limitation, you recognize that there's a whole world unfolding before you. It is a world that invites you to step fully into your purpose. For each step you take, you feel more aligned with what you were born to be. You are clear that you are ready for what you are called to be and what you consciously choose to become. The flow of consciousness carries you, reminding you that you are not separate from creation. You are creation in motion. So let us open ourselves to this awareness, to the rhythm of the universe expressing itself through us. So As we embrace this truth, we see with clarity. We feel compassion. We move with intention. We move like stars in motion. We are the infinite presence that unites us all. And I'll close with a quote from Reverend Rosedale. Our bodies are composed of the substances and the stars, and this cosmic connection lives within us. And so it is.
All righty. So with that all being said, don't you know who you are? You are I am. That is the name of God. I am. So let's start right quick with a short, brief, and centering relaxation as you breathe in really deeply. And then as you do, gently relax that breath real slowly to make yourself attuned to the things you're about to hear about the flow of consciousness. See, because what I love about that song, the I Am song, is how gently it reminds us of we are in the flow of consciousness. I'm reminded of how life itself is infused with the magic, the brilliance, and the wonder and the grace that she talks about in the song. What I know about this is it speaks the truth that when we align with this flow, we open ourselves to the satisfaction, the pleasure, and the grace of the universe. Plain and simple. See, it's a powerful reminder, the I Am song, that we don't have to force life. Life is ours just for the fact that we've been born. So when we trust that something is greater than us, we are always at work moving toward our highest and our greatest good. This song tells me a lot about the flow of consciousness. It also tells me who I am. I am. What I seek, I am. What I want to know, I understand. And all I wish I could, I can. All I want to be, I am. So as we celebrate women's history, we'll speak in terms of love. In many cases, self-love. And so deepen your practice and let that truth of you be in the flow of consciousness. And I know when I'm in the flow of consciousness. What about you? So you're at choice, as I always say. You can choose to incorporate the flow of consciousness by spiritual practices, or you can not do it, but it's at choice. And then you get to learn who and where and when you are in the flow of consciousness yourself. So wiggle your fingers, your toes, and find something in your space that connects you back to the present moment. Because I want to tell you more about the flow of consciousness. See, here's what it is. The flow of consciousness is a circuit, not a circuit, a current, electricity. Just like electricity was invented, the consciousness was not. Consciousness is. It's been here from the day we were brought into this world, from the first human that walked this earth. Consciousness has always been here. But when you're in the flow of it, whether it's the love side or the fear side, you know. So if you're not happy, you're in the flow on the fear side. Get it? When you are happy, you're in the flow on the love side. Simple. So consciousness is this pulse, right? And it moves through every part and every aspect of our being. And it's like this rhythm. It's like a beating heart. Consciousness. It's the life force. It's the power within us. It's the thing that makes us want to move forward. It's the thing that makes us desire, because the only reason why we want something is because this power wants to live through us and have that thing, so it keeps on bugging us until we go get up and get it. Whew. See, that's a powerful energy that we live around, that surrounds us. And it never stops. If it did, the universe itself would stop existing. And we don't want that. And you know it can never happen because we cannot create consciousness, nor can we destroy it. It's an energy, remember? And whether you admit it to yourself or not, you are in the flow of consciousness one way or the other. So women's evolutions all the way across many, many generations, how beautifully it flowed with the consciousness. The flow of consciousness has been in, as, and through us forever. The beauty of this is to show us the flow is it is a current that has existed since the very inception, since we've been on this earth. So many individuals have really actually tapped into this current. And so they felt drawn to it in spiritual practices and creative rituals, and also their inner reflections. So with that said, whatever they choose to focus on shaped their lives and left life-lasting legacies. They just constantly lived and had these beautiful, awesome legacies. So women too, what they did was we have embraced that this power that's embodying us, the resilience within us, the wisdom with us, and the strength with us, we took this power and kept it throughout history, and we're moving it forth into the future. Here's a few remarkable women I could tell you about. Florence Nightingale, she was the founder of modern nursing. You know, she revolutionized healthcare. Ida B. Wells, she was a fearless journalist, and she was a civil rights activist, and she exposed many injustices. She actually advocated racial and gender equality. And Eleanor Roosevelt, not to mention her, she was the champion when it comes down to human rights. She played a vital role in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. These are some powerful women. I can't begin to tell you how many more we got. But you know what? The flow of consciousness had everything to do with all of it and every last one of us. So there is an endless and very powerful well deep inside of us, and it's an energy that is very at the core of our existence. And it is steady, it's vibrant, and it's always there present for us. Now, it's vital that we understand and distinguish the difference between spirituality and religion in order to deepen this awareness. Spirituality and religion are both rooted in faith. Both of them are rooted in faith, but they have distinct ways for us to learn about ourselves, for us to learn about our connection to the divine. See, we happen to explore different differences, but when we are going from one place to another, you may start out going to a traditional church, and maybe that doesn't speak to you. Then you start going into different spiritual arenas, and then maybe that speaks to you. Then when you start to hear it, you start to develop your own core values and purpose in life. In other words, core value and purpose are essential elements when it comes to fulfilling our lives. So when we continuously get involved with self-reflection enough and personal growth, we gain that clarity about what it is that we want, because it's the reason we wanted, as I said before, is because this power within us wants to live that life in us for no other reason. It wants to see this, and this is why we're not happy, because we are not going to get it. And the more we push our way from doing it, and the more we don't do what we need to do to get it, the not so pleased we are with our lives. Then we're in a different flow of consciousness, but yet you're still in the flow of consciousness. You see, women's history is woven with stories and all about people who tapped into the flow of consciousness. And these women also that I've learned about, they have engaged in some type of spiritual practice one way or another. It doesn't matter what practice they focus on for their manifestations, but they focus because any focused practice is enough to get us across that bridge between struggle and success. Any type of practice that we're doing, as long as it's focused, focused practice is how we experience our true nature. So as we reflect on the vast and awesome, beautiful universe that lives within inside of us, we recognize that even more who we are, and we also recognize it for ourselves. See, we have to realize, we have to recognize, we have to know how limited our perception would be if we see ourselves only as human. You hear that? If we just thought of ourselves as only human, we would have such a limited perception. So what? That's why I constantly remind myself that I am a spiritual being having human experiences. What about you? Do you remember that? From time to time, especially when we are in those days that, oh my God, is this day ever going to end? I can't wait to go home and start all over, go to sleep. Yeah, there have been lots of times that I wondered in my mind, is this all there is to life? My goodness. Even back in the day, despite having the things that I thought would bring me satisfaction, I had the things. But for some reason, something still felt incomplete. Eventually, I realized there was always a conscious part of me, and there was always consciousness alive in me. I was always alive in consciousness. So then I started getting involved. Like I said, I peeked around in the traditional communities. I peeked around in spiritual communities. But then I eventually realized that traditional wasn't for me. Remember, you got to know the difference so that you can grow. Some people may grow. I don't say right or wrong. But when I started practicing the way that it spoke to me, I got in the flow. So in constant mindful practice, we have to learn that that's the way we feel, because we get to feel that presence, and feeling gets the healing. See, the presence is what was drawing me in. I was drawing it in, and it was like a trance, a dance, because it was calling me, because that's why I wasn't the happy camper I wanted to be. It was inviting me to experience and explore a deeper me. And the more I followed that trance, the spiritual practices I did became automatic and became a new normal for me. This is my new normal, all right? I am clear that my soul knew I wanted to be in the flow of consciousness today, and it knew I would be in the flow of consciousness today. As long as I followed and decided that I'm going to do what I need to do, I'm good. And I look back now and say, dang, I'm glad that I did get up and do the things I did. Left places I had to leave. Didn't want to leave because it was comfortable and it was all good. And now there's no way I can deny the truth. I can't deny the truth. I can't tell you that I'm worried about what's going on in the world, because that would be dishonest. That would be a lie. That would pop me right out of the flow of consciousness if I worried about what's going on in the world, because that's going to be a part of what? The fear side of my triad. I can't be there. I can't tell you how worried I'm not about other people. I can't worry about other things. You can't even worry about it. If you put your feelings on somebody else, you've lost your own for you. Once you lost your own for you, where are you? Figure that out. We cannot let other people do what we don't want to do. And we definitely can't let them do what we want to do, because it's what they want. If we worry ourselves over how much people don't want it as bad as we do, the flow of consciousness kicks us right out. And that's what's so amazing. So I can't tell you that I'm stressed over anybody else, and I can't even deny the truth of who I am to anybody. So I can't deny the truth. And the biggest thing is I can't deny that I'm in the flow of consciousness. So what I can't control now, I've learned, I have to let it go. And it's not always easy. So it's not like, boom, 1, 2, 3, let's just do that. No, listen, make no mistake about this right here. The flow of consciousness is not for the weak at heart. I know I talk like this, it sounds so easy. No, you got to be willing to do the work. And if you are willing, you no longer become the weak at heart. You become that person with the power because you're doing the work. It is not for weak-minded people who run at the chance of a challenge. It is not. If you get intimidated easily, wake up, because easy intimidation shows me that my friends, they don't want life as bad as I do. And I love them, but I can't stay back here with you. I got to go, right? If you have any doubts about any of this, remember this and know this is so powerful and so true. Many people believe that life is inherently difficult. You know why? Because that has been a belief that was planted in the thought patterns of society all throughout history. Why do we want to still be that member who's constantly a member of society who has to believe that life has to be difficult? But in the moment we decide to make spiritual practices our goal, we immerse ourselves in our imagination. We immerse ourselves in our what else? Our inspiration. Imagination and inspiration, those two things help us out with our spirit. And then what happens is motivation starts to be felt. Feelings of motivation begins to crowd in us, and then all of a sudden it becomes a natural thing that arises in us. But because at that point a surge of power awakens within us and motivation becomes the current flow. Remember, the current that flows through us is easy once we learn the practice, any focus that we choose. See, the feeling of that is often described as having stars in your eyes. Have you ever been told about stars in your eyes? Have you ever heard that term before? Maybe, but let me just tell you, it's very interesting how things have been said throughout history that had real meaning to it. Because listen, interestingly enough, spirituality holds scientific truth, and our bodies have the same substance that are composed of the stars. Yes, you know that. Every substance found in the universe is the same substances that are found in each animal, each human, each plant, everything on the planet. Now, let me just tell you about a guy named Aristotle. Aristotle, he was this philosopher, a Greek philosopher back in 300s BC. And at that time, he was a polymath. And at that time, one or two of those people had many expertise. So a polymath just meant that Aristotle was a person who was good in philosophy, he was good in science, he was really top notch in politics, ethics, and metaphysics, whatever, you name it. That was who he was. But this is what Aristotle discovered about the eyes. He said the dilation of the pupils, it signaled excitement and even love. And when we had a desire, or when we had a belief, or when we had the sense of wonder, it started in the eyes. That's why you hear stars in your eyes. The eyes are the window of the soul. So as we deepen our awareness, let's strengthen that capacity for our self-love. Let's notice when we looking at somebody, you can tell by their eyes how they're feeling. So make sure that you look at the windows of someone else's soul before you do things or say things that you may have to regret or take back, because the flow is the flow. And if you flow it, you can't pull it back in. So the eyes is just one way of revealing that light that always shines within us. If you look at somebody's eyes, you will see it if you're looking. And that's what I love reading, looking at that. So listen to this. Now I'm going to go over something that JT read, and that was in Embracing the Cosmic Flow that I wrote. And here's what I want you to do. Imagine that you yourself Imagine that you yourself are with stars in your eyes. You have been filled with wonder, magic, brilliance, and grace. Now you trust and believe that there's a whole world out there waiting for you, and you decide to yourself that where you can step fully into, you are what you are meant to be. So, with that being said, watch this. You get to clearly see what you were born to be and what you choose to be. And that's the purpose of this next song. So it's a reminder that the universe is unfolding beautifully through you. Embrace this as the truth of who you are, and make sure that the lyrics and the affirmations carry you into this expansive awareness. And with that said, listen to the song Stars in Your Eyes by Herbie Hancock. Oh, yeah. Now, that was powerful to me because he said, you've got stars in your eyes and there's a whole world out there for you. It's just a reminder that the universe is unfolding beautifully through you and through me. And with that, he sings that the stars in your eyes, so much, they're so powerful that you see that world out there and you're ready to go for it. Team. This morning we had our great MC, who's Alan, and Alan's my right-hand man. And the opening and closing prayer, of course, you know, was Mo. She's also going to be the person to be sending you your prayer request when you put it in, especially whatever you're requesting. You don't have to request about the flow of consciousness. You can request anything. So also, JT, thank you so much for being of service as our reader for today. You made it sound so beautiful and put it into a little picture for me. And thank you, Melissa. She's the gatekeeper, she's the spotlighter, and she makes sure that we got everything nice and even inside there. And thank you, Timmy P, for being our fearless pilot and for bringing us to this beautiful landing that we're almost about to see. And also, thanks for the music and announcements. So more thanks to you, Mo. She's our practitioner, guys. She's waiting for your prayer requests. So send them to her, and then she'll send it out to you. So before we close out, but just go to our website. So before we close out, I just want you to remember the flow of consciousness. And today, that's what we're all about, and for the rest of the week. So with that being said, the flow of consciousness means you are evolving and increasing your reflection of your higher being. So at no time will you ever be out of the flow, whether you're happy or not, okay? Or whether you're happy or not so happy, I should say. So remember this. There's a song that you're about to hear, and this flow means that once you're in it, there is no stopping you. You're on the move, you're going to always flow, and you're never going to stop. Because once you do that, you start to polish up your act and get it together. So I want you to hear this song about, it's going to give you the real recourse to what the flow is, but it's going to tell you that you ain't stopping now. So listen to Ain't No Stopping Us by Mcfadden and Whitehead. You gotta see Alan over here grooving to the song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Because it ain't. Once you get in that consciousness, the flow of consciousness, ain't no stopping us now. I hope you know that. We got to get that groove and we got to keep it moving, 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 moving. So get it together, everybody, and stop thinking about it and just get into the flow of consciousness. Listen, that was fabulous. So, okay. That said, guys, Mo, would you please go ahead and do us the honors of praying us out?
Absolutely. Thank you, Reverend Rosedale, first of all, for your wonderful message today and great music choices, have to say. Started off with lots of energy, which is good. It's a good way to start off a Sunday. So as we close out this time together, I know that each and every one of us carries into this week the words that Reverend Rosedale has shared with us. We come from that place of heart in everything that we do. The lives that we touched are enriched as our lives are also enriched by those who come to us. So as I release and I let go and I let God, I know that it is already manifesting within each and every one of us. It is done with ease and with grace and with love and humor. Gotta have some humor in there. And so as we go into our week, our footsteps are light, our hearts are filled with joy and love for everything around us. And we can easily just let this service go, knowing that we are blessed, knowing that our day is enriched. So as I release and I let go, I let God. My heart's filled with joy for each and every one of you. I love seeing your faces every Sunday. I'm being greedy, and I'm okay with that. So as I release and I let go, I know that it is already manifesting within each and every one of our lives with ease, with grace, with simplicity, and untold abundance. And so it is.
Wow. And that was so powerful, Mo, because what I liked most was the humor.
Gotta.
Fantastic. So, guys, thank you, Mo. So, with the closing today, we're going to say these things as we wrap up our time together. Remember the flow of consciousness. Remember, it's the destination of this week, or it's our destination this week. Also, for Women's History Month, remember the past women, but recognize today the divine power unfolding in the women now. Okay? Because it's that same spirit that lived within them, our parents and grandparents and all of them prior to us, who the same power is calling you, is calling all of us to rise and get in the flow of consciousness, especially now. Even now, remember the universe is always supporting you on your journey. So until we meet again, reflect on how grateful you are to be in the flow of consciousness. And so it is.
So it is.
Whew.